Good morning, guys, and welcome back to my channel. So if you're new here, welcome. My name's Alithia, and I'm a minimalist who also is a little bit of a perfume addict. And if you're not new here, then you know that I am a minimalist who's also a little bit of a perfume addict. Today, I wanted to sit down and have a very genuine, honest discussion with you guys about a few things that are on my mind in regards to perfume and being a quote-unquote perfume channel and the direction that I'm going to go in and all of this kind of stuff. So I don't even really know where to begin or how to put it into words exactly. I have a few points that I want to discuss, and I've tried recording this already a couple times, and it just seems like I start rambling, so I do apologize if I start rambling, but I'm going to do my best to get these thoughts out. So I guess I'll start out by saying I am kind of tired of the whole perfume game, so to speak. Namely, that would be the constant... a number of things, but the constant influx and outflux of perfumes, for one thing, both with the type of content that I make as well as the type of content that I like to watch. So my channel started out as a channel about organization, simplicity, minimalism, not minimalism as in living out of a backpack, but minimalism as in only having what you need and not letting clutter accumulate and not having piles upon piles of stuff, and keeping things very clean and organized, reducing your anxiety and keeping your life more simple and stress-free as a result, but also balancing that with beauty, with home decor, with pretty things, with fashion, with things that made me happy and brought a lot of joy into my life. So that was kind of what my channel started out as. That was the fire that was in me, the passion that was in me to share with people, was the way that I liked to live, and I had been inspired by other videos and I wanted to make my own. So that was kind of where my channel started out. Somewhere along the line, I developed a bit of a perfume hobby. Actually, I have 2020 to thank for that, because when everything shut down and all the testers were taken off the shelves, that was exactly when I started getting interested in perfume. And so I started blind buying, which I think a lot of us did. And I don't even know if this was a thing. Like, did this exist before 2020? I don't even remember seeing blind buy perfume content. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a blind buy perfume haul pop up on my channel before that year. I feel like that year really was what sparked a lot of us to have a big perfume collection and to get into this hobby, and we had no choice but to blind buy because there was no testers available and we weren't allowed to go to stores. Everything was shut down. It kind of became this thrilling, fun, exciting hobby, and it really was the only hobby because we couldn't do anything. So, I mean, even the gym closed down. So getting that box of perfumes on my front step every couple weeks was so exciting, and it was just super fun, and that thrill of getting the box, unwrapping the perfumes, smelling them for the first time, and then there was always content to make. You could make content about your hauls, you can make content about your declutters. It was enjoyable to make, and it was also enjoyable to consume for myself personally. Honestly, you guys, I'm really tired of that whole thing. I have no desire to do hauls and declutters anymore. It doesn't bring me joy to make that content, and it doesn't bring me joy to watch that content. My favorite type of perfume video, if I ever want to consume some perfume content, is watching someone's collection, but not a perfume reviewer collection, not somebody who has 500 bottles, not a collection that's constantly changing. This month it's going to be these ones, but in 7 months or a year from now it's going to be totally different. That doesn't inspire me. That doesn't make me excited to watch that kind of content, and it no longer really excites me to make that content. What I love watching is just a typical normal person who doesn't have a perfume channel. Maybe they have a channel completely unrelated. Maybe they're a makeup blogger. They share their perfume collection because these people are not constantly buying tons and tons and decluttering tons and tons of perfumes. This is their 15 or 20 or 25, or maybe they even have a little bit more. Maybe they love perfume as well, but they've been collecting for a few years and they've got like 50 bottles. But that is their collection. Out of all the perfumes in the world, out of everything they could have possibly chosen, those are the ones they have, and they share their reasons for why they love them, what it smells like to them. That to me is exciting to watch and so fun because I love seeing what people have chosen. That's why when I talk to many of my subscribers on Instagram, I always tell them to send me a video or a picture of their collection, because I love seeing what just a typical normal person in the world has in their perfume collection. That gets me going. It doesn't get me going to constantly see shelves upon shelves of perfumes that are just expanding and growing without limits, or people who have every single Parfum de Marly, or people who have every single Fragrance de Bois, or every single Le Labo. Like, to me, it gets to a point where If you're going to just own all of them, then none of them are really that special anymore. You know what I mean? There's no selectivity. There's no decision that needs to be made. If you're just going to own all of them, then none of them are really that special anymore, are they? To me, it's much more special to say, like, this is, the one that I love. This is the one for me. This is the one that suits me the best. This is my signature scent. That's special. That's interesting to me. I don't know if this is making sense. And by the way, I'm not trying to cut anybody down for choices that they make with their collections. If you want to have a huge collection of something, everybody has the right to do that. I'm just saying from my perspective, this is what I find interesting or not interesting. So if you guys have been watching my channel, you probably know that I've gone back and forth in regards to, do I want a small collection, or do I want to just let my collection grow and grow and grow without boundaries? The more that I've experimented with this and gone back and forth with it, the more that I realize, no, having a huge collection or allowing it to just grow without limits is not going to be right for me. It just isn't. As you guys know, I am quite a bit of a minimalist at heart, and I get overwhelmed very easily with clutter. I don't even like to have more coffee cups than I need. I don't like to have more forks in my kitchen drawer than I need. I don't like papers sitting out on the counter. I don't like kitchen appliances cluttering the countertop and taking up room. So I certainly don't want to allow shoes or handbags or perfumes to just grow without limits and take over my closet or take over my bedroom. I'm constantly going through and making sure that things are not becoming overwhelming, because through life you will accumulate things. That's just natural. You'll get gifts, you'll have holidays, you will buy something new that you see in the store that you really like, and over time things accumulate. So it's natural to declutter. It's natural to go through and do a little bit of a cull, get rid of things that are old and worn out, get rid of things that you're no longer using or loving, and keeping only the things that are actually functional to you or purposeful or bringing you happiness or that you actually wear. So I'm always doing that in every other part of my life, and it just became inherent that's what I would do with my perfumes as well. Essentially, what I'm trying to say is, I do not want to continue purchasing tons of perfumes and having to do constant declutters, because I will never allow myself to just have endless amounts of perfumes. There's so many beautiful ones out there, but that doesn't mean that I need to have all of the beautiful ones that are out there. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of decision fatigue or decision-making fatigue, but it's the idea that if you have too many options to choose from, you end up having a hard time making a decision. Not only does it cause you undue mental stress because you have to think harder than you should have to think, but it also makes it difficult for you to choose what you're going to actually wear. And as a result, you end up choosing something that either isn't quite right for you, or you choose something random, or you don't take as much happiness in it, or you choose the wrong thing, or even worse, you don't choose anything at all. Steve Jobs said that he only had one color of t-shirt, and the reason being is exactly that, so that it would reduce decision-making fatigue. When he got up in the morning, he knew what he was going to wear because he only had one color of shirt. I have adopted the same principle with work. I work as a nurse and I wear scrubs, and I only have one color of scrubs. In fact, I only have one type of scrub. And I have 3 or 4 tops that are exactly the same, 3 or 4 pairs of pants that are exactly the same, and those are the ones that I wear on repeat. And the reason I like this is because I like the color, they look good on me, they fit me well, I know that they work, and I never have to worry about mixing and matching tops and bottoms. I never have to think about putting an outfit together. It's just always going to work. I grab a top, I grab a pair of pants, and it works. So that is one way to reduce decision fatigue. I like reducing decision fatigue because it becomes very overwhelming when you are facing tons of options in front of you and can't decide what to choose. And for me, it just is very, very overwhelming. We don't realize it, but we have to process everything in our environment. And that includes perfumes, that includes shoes, that includes handbags. Whatever it is that you're surrounding yourself with, your brain has to process that every time you look at it. And we don't realize it, but it causes a lot of mental clutter. So anyway, that's just a little background for why I love minimalism and why I don't want to have a ton of stuff. I don't want to have decision fatigue every time I go to choose a perfume. I want to have like 5 to 10 perfumes that I can wear on repeat. They all suit me. People know me by them. When they smell me walk into a room, they know that that's me, that's my perfume. They recognize me by the scent. I was telling a subscriber the other day, we were talking, and I told her I'm so envious of my boyfriend because he only has about 5 colognes and he wears them on repeat. And he knows what he likes, and he doesn't go out and buy new ones constantly or try new ones constantly. Here and there, he'll try a new one, but very rarely does he bring a new bottle into his life. He just always wears the same 5 or 6 colognes on repeat. He smells amazing. You know that that's him. You can recognize the scent. It suits him and he loves them. He just has the ones he likes and that's what he sticks with. It's such a nice concept. Every time I think about that or I see his little cologne collection on the dresser, I'm so envious, and I think I wish I had a small perfume collection. I wish I only had 5 or 10 perfumes. I wish I could decide on 5 or 10 that just suited me, and that was it. Okay, so on to my next point. So I am not a fragrance reviewer. I never have been a fragrance reviewer. That is not my title. That is not my job. I don't have any expertise. I don't have any knowledge in this. All I am is a person who likes fragrance and likes to share what I like with other people. That is it. However, somehow, because I did so much perfume content, my channel became largely about perfume, and then I got lumped into this category of perfume reviewers. I am not a reviewer, and I'm not a salesperson. I don't care what you purchase. I don't want you to buy anything. I'm not trying to encourage you to buy anything. I'm just sharing what I like. Now, this is multifaceted because, of course, then you get collaborations with companies and they want you to promote their products. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I have majorly cut down the amount of collaborations I've done. I don't team up with perfume companies very often anymore. I have a couple of ongoing collaborations. I have no interest in constantly sharing perfumes with my audience that I myself would not have purchased. If I myself would not have gone out there and purchased that perfume on my own, I do not want to share it with anybody and I do not want to promote it to anybody. Because A, I don't care to. I'm not passionate about it. It doesn't spark a joy within me. It doesn't spark a fire in me. I'm not excited to do it, and that will come through in videos. If you're not actually genuinely excited about something, that will come through in your videos. And that's not why I started my channel to begin with. I've often said that if I'm not inspired, if I don't have a passion about something, I don't want to do a video on it. So I'm not going to sit here and share perfumes from various companies just because they were sent to me. I have no desire to do that, even if they pay me, even if they offer to pay me or offer to give me commission. If I'm not excited to talk about that thing, I will not do it. With thinking of yourself as a perfume reviewer or being lumped into that category of a perfume reviewer comes this inherent pressure to constantly review all the new fragrances, to constantly have new perfumes to talk about, to get the latest and the greatest, to keep up with trends. For example, if La Perla Possibilities is trending, then you want to make a video about it because people are going to want to know your thoughts on possibilities. And I don't live anywhere near where I can get samples. So just that kind of constant pressure and the constant suggestion of, oh, maybe I should get that one. Maybe I should get this one. Oh, maybe I should buy the new Parfum de Marly so I can review it on my channel, even though it costs $500 and I'm not going to make that money back and the company is not paying me for it. All this constant pressure that promotes not only my own consumerism, but also consumerism in other people does not bring me any kind of joy, I do go through phases where I'm really excited about new perfumes, and then I have phases where I'm kind of just over it. But that's a stark change. That's my progression, because 2 years ago, I was constantly excited for every new perfume. I was constantly excited about perfume in general. And these days, I'm just kind of over it. I have to be honest, I'm just kind of over it. It's not that I don't love perfume or like perfume anymore. I still do. But I'm not all about perfume. Like I'm a multifaceted person. There's more to life than perfume. There's other things in my life that are more important to me than perfume. So I think I've already touched on this a little bit, but I just wanted to mention again the constant game of hauling and decluttering. This is something I don't want to continue to do for myself. This is something I don't want to influence my daughter to do ever. And this is something that I don't want to influence other people to do. It promotes consumerism, it's wasteful, it's not good for the environment, it's not good for our bank account. It was fun while it lasted, but it's not something that I want to do anymore. Again, it comes down to that whole idea that if you're constantly purchasing new and decluttering old, what exactly is the point? I've recognized in myself and also in other channels that it just becomes a little silly. Like, what exactly is the point of constantly getting all these new perfumes and constantly decluttering? In the end, you lose money. You don't make all the money back from selling perfumes you've purchased. And unless you're adding new ones, you always end up going back to your favorites anyways. You always end up choosing those same like 10 or 20 that are your top 20 anyway, in my experience, and the other ones end up kind of going by the wayside, unless you discover a new holy grail, which has definitely happened to me. But kind of going forward, you guys, I don't want to do constant hauls and declutters. I don't find it interesting both to make or to consume. So if I find a new perfume that I absolutely love that has become like a holy grail, like Louis Rouge, for example, from Christian Louboutin, that one was a blind buy and it ended up becoming an absolute like favorite that I love so much. So if I discover a perfume like that, that to me is something worth sharing. But I want to share other things that I love. I don't want to be lumped into just a perfume category. I know when I first started talking about perfumes, a lot of people were asking me, please don't just become about perfumes. Please go back to doing more of your other content, which was like minimalism, organizing, decluttering the rest of the house, clean with me's and things like that. People were asking me not to get too far away from that. And I feel like I definitely did get too far away from that. The perfume world took me by storm and I kind of just ran with it. Before I knew it, I was getting perfumes sent to me from all over. I was getting all these perfume companies wanting to work with me, and I was discovering new perfumes, and there was always something new and exciting to talk about. But honestly, you guys, I am more than just perfume. Like, there's so many things in this world that bring me more joy than fragrance. One of those things is like self-care and skincare. Especially as I'm getting wiser and older, I am discovering that the way I look after my skin and my health is so important to me, and I am much more passionate at the moment about skincare than I am about perfume. Super passionate about skincare and the products that I'm using, and health and longevity and all of that kind of stuff. Also, just having a clean, organized home is very important to me. Simplifying and minimizing my life, having fewer better things, having amazing shoes and handbags that I love, but making sure that I don't have too many of those things. That's inspirational to me. That's something I love. Having a small curated perfume collection, I've always told you guys, is my dream. It's what I want. And the reason I haven't let myself go there is because I think I had this fear that if I did that, I would no longer have anything to talk about. What are you going to talk about perfume related if you no longer do hauls, if you no longer do declutters, if you no longer review every new perfume that comes out, if your collection is only 5 or 10 perfumes and stays the same, then what are you going to talk about? So I think I had this little bit of a fear. It was like, how do I balance being a perfume channel, which I didn't even really want to be to begin with aligning with my own values, which is not having tons of perfumes and not buying more perfumes. The other thing that really influenced me in wanting to change my direction of my channel or share these thoughts with you guys is that I don't know if you've noticed, but I have not done a declutter on my channel for almost a year. In August, it will be 1 year since I have done a declutter on this channel. And the reason being, first of all, some people, not all people, but some people don't take declutters very well. They get offended if you declutter a perfume that you previously raved about. They don't handle that very well. Not very many people, but some people. And I just didn't feel like dealing with that. I didn't feel like doing disclaimers. I didn't feel like reading those comments when people would say, oh my gosh, I can't believe you raved about this and now you're getting rid of it. Like, I didn't feel like dealing with that. But secondly, I'm starting to recognize within myself some behaviors that I'm not okay with. One of those things is constantly trying a perfume again and again and again, hoping it'll work, only to realize it's not going to work. I've done this with numerous perfumes, and it gets to the point that I'm so embarrassed about it that I don't even want to share it. Like, I will purchase a perfume that I've previously decluttered, remember why I decluttered it, have to declutter it again, and then just feel very silly sharing that with the world. And part of why I think I'm so indecisive about some perfumes is I'm very easily influenced, as I think we all are. when I watch a channel and I see somebody hype up a perfume that I recently got rid of or that I got rid of in the past, I start thinking, well, it's so good, maybe it'll work for me now, maybe I should try it again. And then I get it back, only to realize, no, there's a reason I let it go. There's a reason it didn't work. If I loved it, I would have kept it, and it's okay. I don't have to have everything that everybody else is talking about. I don't have to love YSL Libre. I got to a point where I was like, A, I don't feel like explaining myself to people, and B, I also feel silly and it has to stop. But I kind of developed a bit of a complex about perfumes, both when I would purchase and declutter. I would ask myself before I would make a purchase, what will my audience think when I share this with them? Will they think it was a good purchase? Will they think that I shouldn't have bought it? Will they, people will make comments like, oh, I bet you won't keep that one. Or, oh, I wonder how long this one's going to last. Or, oh, I don't think you like that one because you said you don't like coconut. Or, you know what I mean? Like, I was getting too influenced by what I thought other people would say rather than just purchasing for myself. Same thing with declutters. I would normally not blink an eye. I would just declutter what wasn't working for me. I would rather recuperate some of the money. I would rather sell it than keep it. And I would do that without worrying about it. But these days, I've developed a bit of a complex where I'm actually anxious over sharing a declutter because I'm scared of what people are going to say. And that's really unfortunate that that's happened, but that has just been what I've been conditioned to feel like. And I was watching a few other channels that have been doing declutters, and it's unfortunate, but almost every single channel has had to start doing disclaimers and say, hey, you guys, just because I'm letting this go doesn't mean I've changed my mind about it, doesn't mean that, it's not a great perfume. And it's just really unfortunate that we have to do that. But at the same time, it begs the question, why constantly haul and declutter what is the point? Like, eventually it gets kind of silly. Eventually it just gets kind of silly. You know what I mean? It's a different story if you get something here and there that ends up not working, but if it's constantly an influx and an outflux, it just gets to be like, you know what I mean? It gets to be a little bit silly. Like, what exactly is the point? Just find your holy grails and hold on to them and use them and rave about them. That's kind of where I'm at. That's kind of how I feel about perfume at the moment. Another point that I wanted to touch on is perfume shopping addiction. So I think this has definitely become a bit of an issue for me. I've noticed that I will justify purchases because I have a perfume channel, or a channel. I should quit saying perfume channel because I don't just want to be about perfumes, and I'm not just about perfumes. But I've noticed that I will justify purchases because I think, oh, well, if I get this perfume, yeah, it's kind of expensive, but it's really, really nice, and then I can talk about it on my channel. Or I'll think, oh, I can get that perfume because, I'll just, use some of the money from my YouTube channel this month toward it, and I can do a video on it, so it'll be fine. And that is not how I want to function. I want to go back to the times where I actually had to really think, like, should I get this perfume? It's kind of expensive. Do I really want to buy that perfume? Am I going to wear it? Is it going to be a good investment for me? And I totally have gotten away from that. Like, old me, 3 years ago, when I bought a perfume, it was special. It was amazing. I loved that perfume. It was a big deal. And I wore it all the time because I was so excited to have it. These days, I get so many dang perfumes sent to me from companies, and also the ones I purchase myself on top of it, that I end up with like 60, 70 perfumes, 80 perfumes, and I have to continually declutter just to keep on top of it. And it becomes exhausting. And not only that, but all the perfumes that I'm accumulating, even if they're lovely, even if they're wonderful perfumes, beautiful perfumes, I don't end up reaching for them because I'm kind of just having that decision fatigue where I'm a little overwhelmed. I'm like, well, I'm not even excited about any of these at the moment, like, because I have so many and I just don't even know what to reach for anymore because I have so many. So I guess I'll just throw this one on. I guess I'll just maybe grab this one, or I just don't wear any. And I just want to go back to a point where I love and I'm super excited for every single purchase that I make, and I wear the heck out of them because I'm so excited about that purchase. My perfumes that I used to wear was Victor & Rolf Flower Bomb and Miss Dior. Those were my only 2 perfumes I had, and I wore them back to back religiously all the time. And these days, it's like I have to force myself to choose a perfume because I just have too many, and that's not cool. Like, I just want to have a signature scent again. I just want to I want my perfumes to be part of my life, not something I have to manage constantly. But yeah, I definitely feel like I have a bit of an addiction to perfumes now that I never had before. Going into the mall or going into Shoppers Drug Mart, for example, I can't go into one without going to the perfume section now. And 9 times out of 10, if I go into the perfume section, I'm going to talk myself into getting a fragrance. It becomes too much, to constantly be on the hunt for something is overwhelming. It's like I've completely gotten away from just being able to enjoy what I have, and it's all about getting more and building and growing and thinking about video ideas and thinking about, oh well, I'd love to make a video about this, but I need one more perfume, otherwise I don't have enough perfumes to talk about to do a video on. Like, there's only so many times you can do a video about your top 5, your top 10. There's only so many times you can come up with a video topic that hasn't been done 100 times before. I'm not inspired to do all the trending topics that go around, like what you should buy for the Sephora VIB, top recommendations for Sephora VIB. This is all consumerism and marketing and commissions and ways to make money and ways to promote people spending money. That's what this is. Being a YouTube creator, I know what it looks like on the inside. I know how much is made from commissions, from links. I know conversations that happen behind the scenes in regards to collaborations. So I see right through that crap. Like, I see right through it. But typical people who are consumers who are watching videos don't see through it. So they take it as like the gospel. Like, if this is what the top recommendations are, then I should go check those out and I should take advantage of the sale and I should get it. I have never been interested or excited about making videos on those topics. I've never been like, I think I have yet to do like a Valentine's Day recommendation or a Mother's Day perfume video recommendation. Like, I just don't care to. It's not, like I said, I'm not a reviewer and I'm not a salesperson. So what do I care? Like, I'm not gonna make videos about stuff unless I'm inspired to. Or if people have asked me, if people have constantly come up to me and said, hey, what do you recommend for this? What do you recommend? I will often make a video about that because I'll say, hey, a lot of you guys have asked me about this. Or for example, clean girl aesthetic. I actually really love the clean girl aesthetic perfume idea. Like, I love that whole vibe myself. I love those perfumes. I own a lot of them. So that for me was like interesting to me to make. But I'm not somebody who can just constantly come up with ideas like 25 best perfumes for the citrus lover. It just gets old. You know what I mean? It just gets old. And I have lost interest in those kind of videos as a consumer. I want to see like what a normal person has. I want to see what people are loving, genuinely loving. But I have lost interest in so much of it. Like, it just doesn't bring me the joy that it used to anymore. And I like a good declutter, but not if it's a constantly perfumes coming in, constantly perfumes coming out. To me then, like I said, it gets to a point where it's like, does it ever end? Like, does it ever end? Like, what's the point? Like, do you ever get to a point where you just have your 10 favorites and that's that? Like, that's where I want to get to, you guys. That's what I want. So I don't know if any of this is making sense. I have done a lot of rambling, but I just wanted to share my thoughts on this with you guys because like I said, I haven't done a declutter on my channel in almost a year. You can expect that you're not going to see very many. I actually filmed a declutter and I haven't posted it yet because I just don't know if there's any point. Because really, who cares what I get rid of? It shouldn't matter what I get rid of. What I want to talk about is what I'm loving. I want to talk about what has stuck around, what my favorites are, and not just perfume, but everything else like skincare and favorite things I found that have been life-changing for me, like certain products I found or certain clothing items that were discoveries for me. There's so much more that I want to talk about than just perfume. So anyways, going forward on my channel, I apologize because I haven't finished my coffee yet today, and so I think my thoughts are not coming out as concise and linear as they should, so I'm kind of all over the place. But going forward on my channel, basically I'm going to share whatever I'm inspired to share, and so it's not just going to be perfume. And in fact, it'll probably be a lot less perfume. I still will continue collaborating with perfume companies. For example, Fragrance By. I love Fragrance By. I genuinely purchase from them, or I have purchased from them all the time. I'm going to slow down my purchases, but I really love Fragrance By. I think they're such a great company to get perfumes from, so I definitely will continue to work with them. I have no problem working with perfume companies, but it's got to come from a place of passion. It's got to come from me really wanting to share this thing with you. Otherwise, I'm not going to do it. And I'm always going to be very honest with you guys as well if I'm sent perfumes. And even if it's a collaboration with a company, if I'm sent perfumes and I don't like them, I'm straight up just going to tell you, which might not result very good for me, because if I don't help them sell perfumes, they might not want to work with me again. But I don't really care, because I want to be genuine, and it's more important to me to be true to myself and making content that I'm inspired to make, that I love making, that makes me happy, and a reflection of all the things in my life that do bring me a lot of joy and value, not just keeping up with topics, keeping up with trends, coming up with new ideas, getting that latest and greatest perfume to review it, having a new perfume just to review it, spending money I normally would not have spent just because I have a perfume channel. That is something that has to stop for myself and just in general. So yeah, I feel like I've kind of come full circle with this whole perfume thing. Like, I started out not having very many, and it kind of got a little crazy. And now I feel like I've come back to where I'm like, okay, I'm ready to just be a normal consumer again. Like, you know what I mean? That's how I'm feeling at the moment. I'm ready to be a normal consumer again. If I'm inspired to make a perfume video, I definitely still will. I mean, I get ideas pop into my head all the time about, like, you know, which 5 I think are my signature scents, like which 5 do I actually wear all the time. Those would be like my signature scents. Like, I get ideas in my head all the time about stuff I'd like to share, and then I'll make those videos. But going forward, I don't know. I'm just going to do what aligns with me, and yeah, that's about it. So yeah, I really don't know. I'm going to look on my list here and make sure I didn't forget anything. I think I touched on everything. Wanting a signature scent, having a few on rotation. I'm not a reviewer. I don't like the expectations that come with being a quote unquote reviewer. People thinking that your reviews, quote unquote, are gospel when it comes to a fragrance. Like, let's get one thing straight, you guys. There's really no objective way to review a perfume, because perfume is different to everybody, and we all interpret perfume differently, and we all have different tastes. So really, to watch a perfume review, you can only take it with a grain of salt, because sure, it might have good performance. Like, you can comment on longevity and performance, and you can objectively talk about what the notes are. But at the end of the day, that review means nothing if you don't like it yourself. So perfume reviews are just like, I don't know. They're so vague. That's why I think it's so much better to just share what you love, but we have to take perfume reviews in general with a grain of salt, because at the end of the day, it means nothing. At the end of the day, what I think about a perfume means nothing, because you have to like it. And I mean, I'm sure we've all been burned by reviews. I've purchased perfumes based on reviews from some other quite large channels that I ended up hating, you know, so it was money down the drain, because I was like, oh, she hyped it up. She said it was so amazing. And then I ended up hating it. So yeah, perfume reviews at the end of the day are so vague. It's not the same thing as reviewing like an iPhone. An iPhone versus a Samsung, you can genuinely say like, okay, this phone is better in this area because XYZ. That is legit. Like, that I can make a purchase on, and I know I'm going to be happy with it. But when it comes to perfume, what you say about it really does not matter. You know what I mean? And I'm in the same breath, the reason you might declutter a perfume also doesn't matter. Like, I can't tell you how many times somebody will write me and say, can I ask why you got rid of this perfume? And I'm just thinking to myself, why does it matter? Because I didn't like it? Because it didn't work out? Like, does that influence your purchasing decision? It shouldn't. You know what I mean? It always baffles my mind when people are like, oh, I was going to get that perfume, but then I saw you decluttered it. Like, that shouldn't matter. Who cares? You know, it shouldn't matter. Unless it's something like the longevity sucked, or that's really about it. I mean, aside from longevity, you guys, and projection, there's no real good way to review a perfume. That's my thoughts for today, you guys. I hope that this kind of made a little bit of sense. I definitely rambled, but also I would encourage you, if you haven't checked out Hayley Perfume's channel, Hayley, I'm not even sure the name of her channel. I will put a picture on the screen, and I will put a link to her channel down below. She did a video recently talking about this very same topic, very similar fashion. We share a lot of the same feelings, and I would encourage you to check her out. She's a real sweetheart, and it was really refreshing for me and really nice for me to see somebody else sharing similar feelings as me, because I know that I'm not the only person out there who must be feeling this way. But yeah, that's really about it, you guys. I just wanted to make this video to share those quick thoughts with you. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. Oh, my voice is cracking. I will see you guys all very soon in my next video.